Hey, my YouTube people. I came up with an idea for a couple of videos, and I have kind of a busy week coming up, so had a job interview that's pretty important coming up and everything. So I'm not sure when I'll be able to get these up, but I had a couple of ideas that I managed to get on the same page here. So I'm gonna film these both pretty close. Both my cats have been pretty needy lately, so I hope they don't interfere too much. So the first one is why no tax on tips is a really bad idea. And it is a bad idea. I'd like to give a shout out to Joey Smith. I don't remember his exact YouTube handle, but it's Joey Smith and some numbers. Really smart guy, good guy. Been a long time subscriber of mine. He kind of gave me some ideas on this. But number one, and I think overall this is the biggest problem I have with it. Why are some blue-collar people going to be allowed not to have some of their income taxed, but if I don't work in the service industry, I'm going to have all of mine taxed? That just hardly seems right. And it's not like that would be a new thing. People have been not claiming tips as taxes for a long time. And in my mind, that's why particularly the restaurant industry started collecting servers' tips for them to ensure that they got taxed. They kind of haven't really been letting people take their tips home cash for a long time now, since even the late 90s, I think. And that needs to happen. I will explain more on that a little bit later, but it's hardly fair to say, Goemon's going to have all his money taxed because, he works at this grocery store, but, James is going to be exempt from taxes because he works at a restaurant, even though with tips his salary could technically work out to more than mine in a week. I know some people who made a lot of money in tips. It just hardly seems equitable across the board. Okay, so number two, because of number one, who's going to pick up the slack there? Is it going to be everybody else? Or could this be why now Harris is proposing a 25% wealth tax? I don't know that Trump has done anything like that, but I did see recently that Harris is proposing a 25% wealth tax. A lot of people feel like the wealthy pay their fair share already. That's very debatable. People feel all over the board about that. And I guess in the long run, they're allowed to. People are allowed to have their opinion on things, but you either think that they, again, in the 60s, if you made over 7 figures, you stood a chance at getting taxed 92%, and that was one of the more prosperous times in our country. So just consider that. Somebody is going to have to take up that slack. That is all there is to it. Keeping Joe from knocking my monitor over. Hey, can you get off of there, please? Do not knock that monitor over. See, they've been like this a little bit. I think it's because the season's getting ready to change and they're just not as hot. All right. But could that be the reason that the wealth tax is being proposed? That's pretty risky right there. I wouldn't expect some business person to vote blue anyway, but that seems like it would hurt Democratic votes to even propose that. I'm surprised that their camp even did. It's a good idea and it should happen. Because again, let's say that a dude makes $100 million a year, and 25% of that is taxed, and he only has $75 million a year to live on. Poor fucking you, dude. Poor you. And that still makes it worth doing business. So, wah. That's about all the sympathy I'd have. Number 3, these all kind of tie in with each other. Income is income, and taxes are taxes. They make the country go round. Our country subsists and runs and gets its debt paid off through taxes. I don't like them. I think that the amount of taxes that we pay in this country is just astronomical. Our money's taxed again and again and again, and every time you do something with your money, it's taxed. And if you own a house, you're taxed. If you have to register your vehicle, you're taxed. Taxes are necessary in the kind of economy we run. Again, we don't have to agree with it, but getting rid of a huge bracket of taxes would not be good for this country, or its economy, or its national debt, or anything like that. A lot of the wealthy get away with not paying personal income tax. I think Musk and Bezos have both escaped that a couple of years by claiming they didn't get paid a salary. They're still rich, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? I also think that being allowed to transfer almost $12 million in inherited wealth tax-free is fucking bullshit. If I'm going to get taxed transferring money, everybody should get taxed transferring money. Number 4, I and others I have spoken to tend to feel like they would do a little bit more for the country, maybe even the world, if they just ensured that service people got paid a fair wage and just got rid of tipping culture altogether. Because, man, after tip, things can be really, really, really expensive. I mean, some people feel obligated to tip a certain amount. I'm kind of a 10% tipper kind of guy, which means, if I pay $5 for a cup of coffee, I'm hitting custom tip and I'm paying 50 cents, okay, as a tip. And if it doesn't let me do that, I'm not giving them a tip. They can either take my 50 cents or nothing, okay? And again, I know I've applied for Starbucks jobs and Dutch Brothers jobs. I know what those people make. They make a pretty good wage. Their tips in that job are actually a reward. All right. Now, if I go to a restaurant and somebody is getting, $3 an hour, I realize that the tip is kind of making up the rest of their salary. But, I'm not giving you 25% of what the meal cost. And there better not be any gratuity on my bill, This is kind of why I've quit going out to a large extent. It's just, tipping culture, it's just gotten expensive. So yeah, no, I think just ensure everybody gets a fair wage, and tips would actually then be the reward that they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Tipping's supposed to be a reward, not passing on the cost of your employees to your customers. That's fucking bullshit. Number 5. I'm kind of trying to go through these because I just heard my dinner go off. If we are ever going to move to a partial universal basic income or universal basic voucher system, people need to get used to paying more taxes. Probably people like me are going to go from paying like 15% to 25, you know. Your average person is probably going to pay 25% tax, and you know, hopefully it would still be worth it. They have kind of concluded that, you know, there are some people who might not really see, obviously, the upper middle class and the really wealthy. It might just really even out for them, and they could have the option of maybe opting out of that, you know. That might also always be an option. But the way I see it is, the way things are going right now, we probably ought to get used to paying more taxes anyway, because that's what it's going to take, and you know that's what they're going to do. Even with the Fed reducing interest rates, I mean, they're not reducing them enough. For even a well-off family to afford a house these days, they're projecting that interest rates would have to go down to 3% on a mortgage, and that is just not going to fucking happen. I'm sorry. I think that would be great. Chime in the comments if you've heard about this program where they're giving immigrants, in California, they're giving immigrants a $150,000 loan at 0% interest to get a house. And the crazy thing is, this loan doesn't have to be paid off until they sell the house. So what happens if they never sell it and just pass it down generationally? That's a big friggin' loophole right there, is it not? Let me know what you think of that. Number 6, as Joey pointed out, this could endanger other services. If that wealth tax isn't going to go through, then they're going to have to get rid of something in order to have more revenue for the country. That's pretty straightforward. You know, you could feasibly kiss something like Social Security or food stamps or any number of government programs goodbye if they do away with taxes on tips. I mean, it's just amazing how stupid an idea it is, really. And as Joey also pointed out, you explain this to people and they don't fucking get it. Like, they don't get it, you know? No, those people deserve that. They deserve to make good wage, those people. They deserve to make good wage. They shouldn't have to be paying tax on their tips. Okay, well, you know, I hope you enjoyed, you know, paying it for them, you redneck fuck. Number 7, I might have kind of mentioned this roundaboutly. Tipping culture's just gotten out of hand. My family went on vacation to Las Vegas in 2005. This was 2005, okay? And my parents actually got in trouble, got talked to by like the manager of a hotel. The hotel we were staying at is like the Plaza or something. They didn't tip the doorman when he let him out, and they got talked to by the manager about not tipping a dude. I mean, is that fucking bullshit or what? You know, and again, I've heard stories about like people tipping like 10% and then, you know, the waiter coming out and saying, hey, we're used to getting tipped 15% here. It's like you don't even get to choose what you tip anymore. You know what I mean? By the way, a lot of people haven't seemed to notice on that screen that they use now that suggests tip amounts, there is a custom tip option there. And I would suggest doing that. Tip what you want, not what's suggested, because those are all way too high, okay? If it's still a place that has the coin thing there and you just want to dump some pennies in it, you know, do that. I mean, this whole tipping thing as an umbrella kind of thing is just ridiculous. I have done, you know, guitar repairs for people off and on since I was, you know, a teenager, and I cannot remember one single time that I got tipped for that, you know. And I've gone above and beyond on some of those repairs as well. Anyway, there you go. 7 reasons why no tax on tips is a really terrible idea, and really should not be a thing, and should probably be worked out of both parties' bullshit, like now, okay? Thank you for watching to the end if you did. Seems like a lot of you don't, or at least skip around in the video, but hey, thanks for watching some of it at least. This is goemonronin signing out. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I am trying to grow, and do suggest other ideas for videos in the comments if you like. I have noticed YouTube getting rid of a lot of you guys' comments. I do try and go in and find them in the comments section of YouTube Studio. That is the only place you can see all the comments, apparently. I don't know that replying to them there works or not. So some of you I might have to message separately. That's all, everybody. Wish me luck on this interview, and have yourselves a good weekend, okay? It's, what day is it? I think it's Thursday. It's Thursday, so have yourselves a good weekend. Goemonronin signing out.